Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Matt Thompson checking in with you here on the Thompson's Take Facebook page with a quick review of the UCM and Northwest Missouri State rivalry weekend in both football and soccer. Hey, before I get started, I'd like to say I had a blast covering these games. Two beautiful campuses, great athletic facilities, and four solid teams that really represented their schools well. Now, with that being said, I'll jump right into talking about yesterday's football game in Warrensburg. To say that I was surprised by the way this game unfolded is simply an understatement. I had Northwest coming out and winning big in Warrensburg simply because they have a great football program, a great track record. They came in ranked number 3, and in their first two games they had outscored their opponents 79-7. But the Mules came out and really surprised me, dominating a good portion of this game. In fact, with 8:17 to go in the third quarter, they were up 23-6, and I'm sure there were some Bearcat fans maybe getting a little nervous that this big upset would take place. And the Bearcats were still down with a minute 10 remaining in the fourth quarter. They were still down 30-27, at which point Brady Bowles took over, and the Bearcats really capitalized here. Senior leadership by Bowles as he came out and led the Bearcats on a 5-play, 73-yard drive, completing passes of 28 and two 19-yard passes, and then running for 7 yards for a touchdown to make it 33-30. The extra point was then added, and Garrett Fugate came out, and UCM was going to try and score on their last drive. They played a really solid game. Well, I won't say a solid game, but they played tough against the Bearcats. Both sloppy play on both sides at times of this game, to be honest, but there's always things you can work on in sports. Fugate ended up throwing an interception, and the final score in this one was 34-30. A much closer game, as I said, than I expected for sure, and I know a lot of UCM fans left disappointed. I would not hang your head. You guys have a really solid football team, it appears, a team that'll fight, and you guys will go on the road to Nebraska Kearney next week, and I would not be surprised to see the Mules bounce back with a victory. Now today, I went and saw a little bit of soccer up in Maryville at Bearcat Pitch. The Jennies, the UCM Jennies, and the Northwest Missouri State Bearcat women's soccer teams were squaring off, and this game really was a tale of two halves. The second half was dominated by the UCM Jennies, and the final score ended up being 6-1. Jada Scott had a couple goals for UCM, and Ashton Reuter, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that name. I think it's Reuter, had a goal to make it 6-1, a goal to avoid the shutout for Northwest. I didn't have a team picked really. I favored the Jennies. Obviously, they came in 5-0, and they've really dominated their opponents. The thing about Northwest, though, is I followed some of their games as well, and they really seem to keep the ball on their side of the field a lot, which they did in the first half. At halftime of this game, it was 1-0, and it really appeared like they were going to fight, and this was going to be a really close game. And UCM came out in the second half and just dominated the Bearcats. But you get the feeling that if the Bearcats can get a few things right offensively and get a few shots in the back of the net, they will potentially go on to have a solid rest of the 2015 season. A great game, and I really look for UCM to do something special as they're ranked number 2, as I said, and they've had a really strong season to this point, and they're really not giving you any reason to think that they won't continue to do so. Two great games, as I said. I'll wrap this up here on the Thompson's Take Facebook page. My name is Matt Thompson. Look for me to cover all 4 of these teams as the seasons continue. I will try to get some athlete interviews. I need to email some coaches and athletic directors and see if I can make that happen. I'm new at this, guys, so please bear with me. Certainly had a lot of fun watching some college sports, and as I said, really great teams and great campuses. I'm Matt Thompson here on the Thompson's Take Facebook page. I will be back with you next week to cover some Royals, some Chiefs, the high school huddle, and some more college sports. Thanks a lot, guys.